My name is Chris Wheeler. This is my story. So I was a champion club-level racer on the verge of breaking onto the national scene. I had lifted trophies all across the U.S. That success led to a test session with a manufacturer, that being Janetta. And in that test session, I binned the car. Yeah, I lost everything. And for a while, I went anywhere where I could drive anything. The turning point came when I ended up in Campo Grande, Brazil, and that day fate smiled on me. I was there to meet someone, a team manager for a Copa Classic team, and just trying to secure a seat. And that's when opportunity knocked. At the racetrack, the championship leader of the regional Copa Fusca series that was present got into a massive argument with his team boss and just stormed off right before qualifying. Threw his helmet. He wasn't racing. The team was scrambling to find someone to fill the seat, or were they canceling? They didn't know what was going on, and I just so happened to be right there. So I got my race suit on, threw on my helmet, and jumped in the seat. I couldn't get set up in time for qualifying, so I was starting at the back of the grid.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I try to push the bar forward in every video I can, and that was my attempt at being cinematic. I think it worked out pretty okay. So, what we have today for you is a race at a pretty cool track, Campo Grande, in the Copa Fusca. Very interesting combination of car and track. I found this to be a very fun one to record and to, just pick up and go after. I thought it was a really nice combination. As you can see here, I'm sliding up past the AI, but, what I really want to do with this career mode is introduce some very interesting car and track combinations that most people don't even realize are in AMS2. I know for a fact that when I first got this game, I just kind of glossed over a lot of the content I didn't immediately recognize, but turns out there are some really, really good gems in this game that you just need to go explore for yourself. Come on down here to the long left-hander. I'm going to talk a little bit about the car and the track. So the track itself is actually a pretty interesting little track. It was built by somebody that he made kart tracks, and he sought to get some funding for this racetrack and had to get the funding from the city, and that led to a lot of issues. You can see us slide up the outside there. I'll switch back on the chicane. He gets me back there. And in 2001, this track was constructed, and it raced immediately. It hosted the Formula Truck Series in Brazil, and it was a massive success. But after just a few years, the track ran into some issues. It wasn't attracting a lot of series. It was basically the stock cars and a couple others. We sent it down the inside here. Pretty nice move. And what happened is, around 2014, the track was shut down due to that politicking that was happening from up above with the city council, and the series that were going there on a national scale stopped going there. So this Brazilian stock car series stopped going there, and the track did come back the next year in 2015, and it just didn't have the same pull. We go down inside, nice little move there. We make our way up into P18. This track nowadays is actually just relegated to local and regional club racing, which is kind of a neat thing. I didn't really pick this track with any sort of particular interest in mind other than it looked like a fun track and car combination. And what you see here is this long left-hander is a real tricky corner to get right in this type of car because of just how slidey the car is, and you don't want to scrub too much speed off of those turns and damage the rears too much. But you see here, I'm just cutting through the field pretty effectively. We get this little last section here, kind of reminiscent a little bit of like Catalunya, a little bit in my opinion, with the chicane after chicane thing, but it's really not as nasty as it is in Barcelona. Back to what I was saying though, the reason I picked this track, again, just it looked like a good combination for this kind of lower powered car. You can get really slidey with it. It's pretty fun, right? But it is a local and regional track, so it's actually a perfect type of track to host this type of race, and then for Chris Wheeler's career to have the turning point at this track actually makes a little bit of narrative sense, as the yellow car there gets a little loose as the blue car kind of did him dirty there. We slide up and barely hold on to the track there. There'll probably be a track limits violation. This is just a really fun one. I enjoyed it. I had a couple of takes on this one. I just kind of went off and broke the car and was in last place. There's nothing interesting about that one. Go outside here is a little bit of a different line to take, and it just, the AI here is actually not bad. I think I had them a little undertuned. I really didn't want to slice through the field this easily, but it is. They give you a nice little battle, and it's actually a lot of fun because I'm treating it like it's a real race. We're going side by side, and so I have to let up and let him continue to go through. When some people with AI, you would just kind of slam the door really hard right there, and they would just let you do it. So the AI does put up a nice little fight, especially if you take it at least somewhat seriously and realistic. The Copa Fusca, they race these in Brazil. They're old stock Volkswagen Beetles, and it's called the Fusca in Brazil. So it's just a different name, but it still just means beetle, right? So we're gonna see some interesting, gaggle form up here, and sweep on to the left, and look at this. That was all iRacing instincts right there. Let's take another look at that. I just come around the corner, and there's like 8 cars in this big pile up, and yeah, that was 100% iRacing instinct, and now all of a sudden, we're promoted to P7 after that. I didn't expect that. The AI and AMS2, generally speaking, are pretty clean with their racing. There's not a lot of crashes, but so to go that many positions up really changed the trajectory of the whole race, and really kind of gave Chris Wheeler the opportunity here to score pretty well and to make a big impression starting from last on the grid. He's now running in P7 halfway through the race. What I want you to look at here is this black car that I just passed. I just want you to keep your eyes peeled because you'll be seeing him again very soon. Coming to this turn, and he makes a pretty nice move on the blue and orange car. And we're going to come on down here and watch this next move from him as I get on the grass a little bit. Yeah, I've never seen an AI go that aggressive in any game. So that was really, really cool. I was like, wow, this guy's actually fighting me pretty hard. It felt like I was fighting a real person. It was really cool. I really did enjoy this, and we're going to fight down this main straight. I take to the outside there, and he's pushing me out onto the onto the runoff there. And now I've got the inside, and I'm gonna try to fight for the apex. Barely get it, and I'm kind of pushing him out wide a little bit too, and he's out on the outside, and I go back to the inside. Barely keeping the car together. Am I going to be able to keep him behind? That's the question here as we run down to the left-hander. And I had to watch it, man, because look at this. He's going again. I didn't close the door, and there he is on the inside. We're fighting again. Unreal stuff. I mean, I've never seen an AI fight like that before, and that was actually a really fun battle. So AMS2 gives you that sort of thing every once in a while from the AI. When the AI is good and it's a good car and track combination, and they'll fight you like that. That's really, really cool. So, big fan. The fun thing about this car, the stock Beetle, the Copa Fusca, is it has, it's a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive car. So it really likes to rotate, which I find to be really fun to try and control. The car really likes it when you tip it in on entry and just kind of use the throttle to straighten the car out a bit. And it really, like I said, really just enjoys that characteristic. But as we're sweeping on through here, you can see like my rear right is getting really hot. And it's interesting in cars like this. That's the tire that kind of holds everything together. We're in 5th right now, sliding up on P4, coming down into turn 1 into that right-hander. He's a long way back here, but look at this move. He's going there. Got it way sideways there, and he takes the position back, but will we have another look here at this left-hander? No, we're too far back. But, ooh, I actually got a little bit too much of the dirt there. What you find is you can really set the AI up for passes pretty easily. Even though they're good fun to race against, they don't really prioritize exit speeds and things like that. They're really trying to maintain the high speed through the corners. I mean, just look at how much the car is just wiggling and sliding, and I'm having to counter steer a whole bunch. It's actually a big challenge because of, again, that rear wheel, rear-engined car characteristic is the car is just very loose, and you have to really steer it and drive it pretty hard in order to get the most out of it. But what I started to realize, I needed to be a little bit smoother through this big long left-hander because that was really eating my rear right. I was finding when it was getting over like 85, 86 degrees that the stability, the grip just really wasn't there anymore whenever you were trying to slide the car and catch it with the throttle. It wasn't working when that rear right was too hot. I do like to play with accelerated tire wear. I find it to be more fun to adapt to changing conditions. And we're coming up here. We're in 4th, and that's the lead right there. That's the big group. Alright, so we're looking at the top 3 right there. Let's take a nice swig of water there. Get a cup holder for your rig. That's the big leagues right there. You see the top 3 just scrapping, and we're gaining a lot of ground. And if you've been paying attention to the replay and seeing, they swap around a lot, which I think is really cool. A lot of AI, you don't really see that in a lot of different games, so that's a pretty cool feature. I like just the battling, and it gives me a sense of realism. Get a better exit here, and now I'm right on the bumper. We'll start to, again, the car's starting to lose a little bit of that effective grip. We come through the last corner and back onto the main straight. I was taking that curb a little too aggressively, actually scrubbing a lot of speed off there. I probably could have made a better run out of there if I just didn't get super aggressive. As we come down here to T1, we're seeing the defensive line being taken by the AI, or is he trying to overtake a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but this is a mess right here. Let's see what we can do. I find that this is actually a really good way, by driving a bunch of different cars and tracks on different sims, to try and improve as a sim racer and just learn a lot more. Again, I'm having to do some counter steer here to balance the car out. What makes it really interesting and really fun is that you get to do this, and I get to show off some content that maybe isn't the first choice or the 10th choice for people. And we get to see like this sort of thing happen. It's really neat. This group of the 3 cars plus myself, we've pulled away. The mirrors are completely empty. There's not another AI in sight, and now we're going 3 wide. I decided to treat it like a realistic race. I'm like, I'm not going to make this 4 wide. I'm not going to get in the middle of this. I started to treat it like it was an iRacing race, and you see the 2 cars on the left there just smacking a little bit. But this is going to hold them up and give me an opportunity to try and swoop in as we go into the last complex of corners. And again, they're fighting really hard. Up the inside of one, we're fighting for that podium place. On my teammate, the sister car in the exact same livery as ours, pushing me to the outside, and we're going to sweep back in, see if we can take them onto the main straight, bump a little bit, and we're on the main straight. I'm hurtling down into T1 again. This is the final lap. We do 15-minute plus 1 laps, at least for right now in the series, and we're going to try to make a move into T1. Deep on the brakes. Let's see if we can push him up the inside, snagging the apex, and we're just gonna make it out wide enough on the exit. He sweeps back to the outside. We're able to hold him on the inside. Now this is a defensive move right here. I pull I block off the apex, do a little Minister of Defense move right there, accelerate out, and we're creating a gap. That's a dirty move, but I suppose it fits the type of racing that's been happening on this track. And that's a hold up on the apex a little bit, and you can create a little bit of a gap that way, which, yeah, I mean, it's a little frowned upon, but hey, these guys were pushing me, so I figured why not make it at least somewhat interesting. But yeah, I'm deciding with this series, with this career mode, that I'm going to race the AI as if they're people. As I take another nice swig. Again, get that cup holder on your rig. It's valuable stuff. But I'm going to race the AI as if they're real people, just so that I'm not exploiting things. I mean, you can really get a ton of positions if you drive really aggressive on the start, but this way it's interesting once you get a little spread out a little bit more. It is a nice pace that you can run out in open air. There's some nice battling that you can do, and I really was impressed this whole race just with how fun it was to cut through the AI. And as we come through, look at this. Oh, get a little wide. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. I was like, man, if I bottled it right there, I was just going to absolutely send it, regardless of what happened. But yeah, we take the win. Chris Wheeler secures a win in the most unlikely fashion on a call-up at the last possible second. Crazy stuff.
So you could say it went pretty well. The person I was originally there to see invited me to the race in Cascavel, and I'd be driving a Copa Classic car.